Hey, this is knittingbrow, and I'm here to answer some questions that I was asked recently on Plurk. And as Cat Knits asks, when did I start knitting? I started knitting, I believe, in March of 2003. My friend um, Maggie taught me to knit, and that's been great fun. And I took to it really like fish to water. I did have a couple of blurps where I needed to simply be around so that I could start to recognize the knit and the purl stitches. And interestingly enough, I didn't really understand the difference between a knit and purl, or I didn't recognize it as I was reading my knitting until I took a knitting class in the fall. Frances was teaching it, and at one point I was looking at my knitting and I stopped and went, huh, and I turned it over, I was doing this, and lo and behold, I could tell the difference between a knit and a purl. And the way I like to think about it is when I look at a knit, I actually see a V. So it's kind of like a V-neck. And when I look at a purl, I recognize the purl because it has a turtleneck on it. So if you've done any knitting, you can recognize that as well. As Cat Knits also asks what I like to knit. Well, I like to knit a variety of things. I do like to have a portable project so it can go with me wherever I am waiting. I also like to have a pretty brainless knit, something that I can enjoy while watching a movie or spending time with friends. That's fun. I also enjoy a bit of a challenge. Currently, that challenge for me is lace because I do have to concentrate on it. Previously, it's been Fair Isle knitting, some of the yoke sweaters. I use the Elizabeth percentage system to do my sweaters, but I've also done some Lopi designs, and I've enjoyed those quite a bit. I've also done some knitting of washcloths, just simply to keep my hands busy, and that has been a really very helpful thing. As Cat Knit also wants to know what is a challenge for me, and I'm assuming you're talking about when it comes to knitting. Well, I do have some math issues with knitting, and if I don't really understand the the pattern or the instructions, that kind of takes me my interest out of it. But I don't do a whole lot of that other than the EPS. Now, what I am looking forward to learning to knit is intarsia. I've not done that, and that's the color knitting, but it's in blocks. Let's see, argyle is a form of intarsia. Also, the Brandon Mabley and Kay Fatsett designs are also a lot of intarsia knitting. So I am looking forward to at some point working on those. Um, Again, knitting for me is, it's just great fun. And when it's not fun, I don't want to knit. Rowan also asked, do I ever get knitter's block? Actually, I do, and those are times that I actually put my knitting down and I let it rest. And I rest, it rests, and we're all better because of it. And she also goes on to explain that knitter's block as, that's as where I don't want to knit or I can't find a project or a UFO that I want to knit. A UFO is an unfinished object. If I can't find a project that I want to knit, then to be honest with you, I actually stop. I pause because those are the times when I've actually bought a whole lot of yarn when I didn't need it or I didn't want it, or I take a project that's not really the best project for me. I need to give me some time between time and space between me and the knitting. I have oodles of unfinished objects to work on. I haven't done all of them, and they're scattered around the house, which would probably make it a little bit easier. Now, if I do have knitter's block and I want to get inspired, the first thing that I do is I go shopping in my stash. I have lots of yarn. I also have lots of books. Ravelry has been really helpful for this so that I can search patterns using the advanced search options for patterns that I have, that are in books, and that really does help me get some ideas. And just, but to be honest with you, sometimes you just need a break. So enjoy your colorful loops of daily living. If you have some additional questions that you would be interested in asking me and hearing my response, by all means, post them on the blog, send them to me as an email. You can get to me from knittingbrow@gmail.com. Bye.